I think there's a lot of people that would look at you being signed to WWE back then and go, I don't get it. You tick all the boxes.
Yeah.
What was the reason they gave you when they released you?
Well, and I remember I always tell a story. Like, I was waiting on a raise. I was due for a raise, and everyone was talking about, everyone, Dr. Tom, the head trainer, there was like, hey, someone's getting a call this weekend, and you're going on the road. And everyone thought it was me. Everyone's like, oh, dude, Logan. My name there was Chris Logan. I had to change it from Brian Cage, and Chris for Canyon, Logan for Wolverine.
Yep.
And I missed a call from the office. I was like, oh, man, everyone thought that was going to be me. It is going to be me. I'm so stoked. I call them back. I'm all excited. And they're like, oh, hey, Brian, how's it going? I'm like, good. Just in the gym, like trying to play it cool. And they're all right. Well, yeah, this is kind of the hard part of the job sometimes, but we're going to have to come to terms with your release. And I literally went, not even like, being a smart ass or anything. I was like, did you call the right number? Like, I was so, I was like, what? No, didn't even cross my mind. And they're like, oh, yeah, sorry. I'm like, what? Why? And of course, they always give you a BS reason. They go, well, we think you need to just go get some more experience because you're a little too indie. And I go, huh. So you're going to release me to go get more experience in the indies to not be so indie. Okay. All right, sure. That makes a lot of sense. But
then you go to TNA, you go to Lucha Underground, you go to Impact Wrestling. Did WWE at any point go, we've seen what you're doing?
and I did a lot too. So
yeah,
I tried not to ever reach out to them. Well, they did reach out to me, and they were going to put me on Tough Enough. Like the first one, they brought Stone Cold back, and then they took me off the list. And then they came into Fresno when I was living there, and they invited me down, and it sounded like they were going to bring me back. And I remember they wanted me to for NXT Season 3 before it became all girls. And then they changed their mind on that, and then it went back and forth. And finally, I got a message saying, oh, never mind, we're no longer interested. I'm like, what do you mean? What happened? And they're like, oh, let's just face it, you're average at best, and we're no longer interested.
They said that?
Yes, in text. I was so heated.
No
way. And I kept it as professional as I could, because there's a lot I wanted to say. But I was like, all right, well, I think you and I both know I'm better than average. But that's fine. I appreciate you getting back to me. Maybe we'll work together again in the future. And that's what made me go, look, I'm not shutting the door on them. But that's where my desire of I have to get back there went away. And I felt like actually my life professionally and personally excelled once I finally let go of that. Like, oh my gosh, I need to be there. I have to be there. And yeah, everything just started kind of working up and getting better and better and better. And they reached out to me several times, because a lot of people would reach out to them about me, whether it be, some of the people outside of wrestling that would just go and look for talent scouts, other people who used to be there or currently there. And they talked to me a lot of times about trying to bring me in for a tryout, and they would never happen, and it almost happened. And then when it finally was going to happen, I actually turned it down because I just signed with AAA and Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool too to be on the offense there. The very rarely on the offense. I was like, you know what? It's okay. And I remember they were kind of shocked. Like, what do you mean? You don't want it? And I was like, well, there's some other stuff I'm going to go ahead and explore. And I think I'm going to check that out instead. And they're like, what? No, you're not supposed to say that. And I'm like, and it felt kind of good, especially after they kind of dick me around for freaking so long. And just kind of, so, and then there was, some small talks, but nothing was ever going any crazy. And again, it wasn't, it was never a feeling I have to go there. I'm like, look, I just want to wrestle, and there's a place that's going to offer me a great deal, and they have a great, either story for me or just great people for me to work, and that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So, I loved my time in Impact. I loved my time in Lucha Underground. That was probably some of my favorite stuff. And then ultimately I wanted to go to AEW, especially because there were so many people there that haven't worked or I wanted to work with again.
Yeah.
And I remember because a lot of people were giving me pretty good deals or offering pretty good deals towards the end of the Impact run, including Impact, to stay there. But I ultimately was like, no, I want to go. I felt like where I was at, if I stayed in Impact or Ring of Honor or went to New Japan or whatever, I felt like my ceiling was still kind of capped. Where I feel like for me to go to AEW was the only way to kind of try to get above the ceiling that I was currently at.